In the next 20 minutes, you're going to get a simple blueprint to begin unlocking your potential. No fluff, just steps you can start using today. That's the promise. But let me begin with a picture you already know. A stranger snaps at you on the street and you shrug it off. The same sentence from someone you love lands like a knife. Why does the voice of a coworker bounce away while the voice of a friend becomes the soundtrack of your doubt? That difference is the key to what I want to show you: how to protect your heart, sharpen your focus, and use 20 intentional minutes to begin a real turnaround in your life. You're not broken because you get hurt. You're human. You're not weak because you mourn a dream. You're normal. But too many of us let the wrong voices shape our decisions, drain our faith, and steal our momentum. Today, I'll give you 5 clear keys, each tied to a simple practice and a concrete, minute-by-minute, 20-minute routine you can use right now to start unlocking the next season of your life. If this resonates, hit like or follow now. Stick with me through the end, and I'll give you that exact 20-minute practice to begin today. Key 1. Fewer intimate friends. Value over volume. Here's the thing most people miss. Not all friendships are meant to be intimate. Proverbs warns us about the nature of friendships. Proverbs 18:24 tells us that some people have many companions but lack a close friend. The text pushes us to understand that depth matters more than number. And Paul warns in 1 Corinthians 15:33 that the company we keep influences our character. That isn't an indictment, it's a call to wisdom. Imagine your life as a garden. Some plants are perennials, deep-rooted, season after season. Others are annuals, bright for a moment, then gone. You don't let every plant take all the soil. You choose a few that will sustain the ecosystem. The same goes for relationships. Intimacy uses emotional resources: trust, time, confidential space. Spread those resources too thin and nothing thrives. A concrete example: you're in a workplace Slack channel. Someone posts a passive-aggressive comment about leadership. A week later, the comment turns up in your friend group chat as evidence that the whole company is corrupt, and your closest friend begins to parrot it. Most of us would expect loyalty from that friend. Instead, we get gossip. That hurts because it breaks an implicit covenant of trust. When that happens repeatedly, it wears down your confidence to take risks. Application: review your inner circle. Who do you call at 2 a.m.? Who prays for you without agenda? Who celebrates your wins without a follow-up criticism? Limit deep emotional investment to those who share your values and convictions. You can still be cordial to everyone, but reserve your intimate bandwidth for a few dependable companions. Practically, pick 3 people who will be your true friends for this season. Make one coordinated step. Send them a message this week that says, "I need a small group I can count on. Would you be part of it?" That step protects your emotional gates and frees you to invest where it counts. Key 2. Protect your focus. Focus is the nutrient of faith. A quick truth I learned the hard way: faith without focus is like a fire without fuel. Faith is not passive. It requires an emotional muscle that is trained by attention. Psalm 62:5 invites us to find rest in God alone. Paraphrase: resting in God is not passive resignation, it's focused dependence. When your attention is scattered, drowned in news feeds, group chat dramas, or replaying hurts, your spiritual energy is diluted. Think of your focus as a battery. Small distractions are tiny drains. One by one, they sap the charge until you can't sustain any forward movement. You might still pray, you might still read scripture, but your consistency crumbles because you've allowed 1,000 small leaks. Exercise: the 20-minute block. Try this for 20 minutes right away. Turn off notifications, close browser tabs, put your phone face down. Begin with 2 minutes of silence or slow breathing to settle your stomach and straighten your thoughts. Then spend 12 minutes on one meaningful task: a devotional, writing a clear objective for a project, practicing a skill, making one phone call that matters. Finish with 6 minutes of prayerful reflection and 1-sentence action step you can do within 24 hours. That 20-minute investment does 2 things. It rebuilds your capacity to concentrate, and it converts vague desires into concrete steps. Practical example: you're trying to write a book proposal, but every time you open your laptop, you drift into email. Block 20 minutes on your calendar, labeled Write 20. Treat it like an appointment with God for the gift He's given you. After 4 weeks of these little investments, you'll be stunned at the momentum you've recaptured. Key 3.
Stop complaining and don't feed complainers. Complaint is contagious. Paul instructs us in 1 Thessalonians 5:18 to give thanks in all circumstances, paraphrase. And while that is a spiritual posture, it also functions as a practical discipline against the culture of complaint. When wallowing in grievance becomes comfortable, it shapes your identity. Complaining rewires your brain to fish for injustice until even small annoyances loom large. Here's a simple test. Listen to your last 3 conversations. How many times did someone rehearse what's wrong rather than look for what's next? Complaining provides temporary relief, an audience, a release, but it rarely helps you move forward. Worse, when you surround yourself with habitual complainers, they will start to define what you believe is possible. A replacement habit, the 20-second reframe. When you catch yourself beginning a complaint, pause and take 20 seconds to name one small good thing in that situation.
If a friend cancels, instead of unfolding disappointment into a lecture about unreliability, say, "I can use this time to finish X." Say it out loud. Train yourself to extend gratitude even in inconvenience. It doesn't deny pain. It disciplines the emotional muscle toward hope. Example, a parent keeps replaying the injustice of a child's mistake or a boss's unfair criticism. Instead of rehashing it on the family group thread, replace the rehearse with anger impulse with a short plan. What's one corrective step? Send a clarifying email, set a boundary, or simply rest. You'll conserve emotional energy and model resilience for others. Key 4. Don't put ultimate expectation in people. Anchor in God. We must be honest. People will disappoint us. That's not pessimism, it's realism. Psalm 62:5 says, "For God alone, O my soul, wait in silence." Paraphrase. The psalmist points us to God as the ultimate refuge. That doesn't mean we cut people off or pretend they don't matter. It's a reordering. People are collaborators and companions, not the foundation of your identity or the source of your peace. Picture an old house with a faulty foundation. If you hang a new coat of paint on the walls, relationships, achievements, and titles, you'll still be unstable if the foundation is rotten. God becomes that foundation, the one in whom your soul can safely rest. We love people, we commit to them, we invest, but we don't make them gods. A practical measure, set emotional expectations at 3 levels. Level 1, day-to-day reliability, colleagues, casual friends. Level 2, trusted supporters who will pray, speak truth, and hold you accountable. Level 3, God, who sustains your soul. When you notice yourself elevating a human to level 3, pull back, recenter in prayer, and if necessary, have a loving conversation to realign expectations. This preserves relationships and protects you from deep spiritual collapse when others fail. Key 5, embrace reinvention. Nights become soil for new growth. We live in seasons. Sometimes a night falls where nothing seems to work. Job loss, a broken relationship, a medical setback, an unfair dismissal. It's tempting to see that season as useless. I want to redefine that night. What looks like a waste can become the quiet soil where God plants new roots. Faith is not a guarantee that everything will turn out the way we hoped. Faith is the capacity to continue when life collapses in ways we did not expect. Fighting this misconception requires a change of language. Instead of calling it failure, call it a recalibration. Instead of saying I'm ruined, say I'm rerouted. The real work of reinvention happens in small decisions, choosing to learn a new skill, clearing negative influences, and spending deliberate time to plan the next steps. Example, imagine you lost your job. The night after the call, you could spiral into stories of shame.
Or you could use that season to take a 20-minute daily practice where you map transferable skills, reach out to 3 potential mentors, and craft 1 new resume paragraph. Those are small acts of faith that build a new narrative. The Theology Bite, what faith really is. Here's an essential reframe. Faith is not a receipt for success. Faith is not a mechanical ticket that guarantees a specific outcome. Rather, faith is perseverance. It's continuing despite disappointment. It's showing up to the day when your plans have been upended. Hebrews and the whole sweep of biblical witness show people who held on through suffering, not people who never suffered. I'm not minimizing pain or saying God is indifferent. God grieves with us. The promise is that God's presence is with us and that perseverance refines character. This is a pastoral truth with practical consequences. Stop measuring your life by instantaneous deliverance. Start measuring it by steady response. When everything fails, faith is the posture that keeps you moving toward God and toward action. Mini hook. Try this for 20 minutes and see what shifts. Climax, the 20-minute practice blue part. Now for the part you came for, the concrete 20-minute session that will begin to unlock your potential. This is a compact discipline you can do daily or whenever you need to recenter and relaunch. It combines the keys above into a single practical rhythm. Structure, 20 minutes total in 4 segments. Minute 0 to 2, prepare and quiet. Turn off notifications, put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Sit in a comfortable place. Breathe slowly for 2 minutes. Use those breaths to name one thing that's cluttering your mind, a relationship strain, a project, an anxiety. Give it a single word. Minute 2 to 8, reflection and inventory, 6 minutes. Ask 2 questions. What worked this week and what drained me this week? Spend 3 minutes on each. Be concrete. Name one person who built you up and one person who consistently drained you. This is not judgment, it's data. If you notice a trend of the same names, consider what boundaries or adjustments are needed. Minute 8 to 14, planning with small steps, 6 minutes. Pick one area to move forward, spiritual, professional, relational, or health. List 3 very small, immediate steps you can take in the next 24 hours. These must be doable: a 5-minute call, an email draft, a 20-minute focused work block, a short walk, a prayer for clarity. Choose the single most important step and commit to doing it today. Minute 14 to 20, prayer/gratitude and 1-sentence commitment, 6 minutes. Spend 2 minutes in gratitude. Name 3 small things you are thankful for today. Spend 3 minutes in focused prayer, asking God to give clarity, courage, and provision for the next step. Use Psalm 62:5 as an anchor. Let my soul find rest in God alone. Paraphrase. Finish with 1 sentence you will say to yourself every morning that summarizes your commitment.
Today I choose steady progress over immediate perfection. Why this works: it's short enough to fit into a crowded day, but long enough to create a new neural pathway. Practical variations. If you're in a noisy environment, do a quick 20-minute walk and use the plan mentally. If you're with a trusted friend, do the session together and then share the single action step. Accountability amplifies progress. If you miss a day, don't shame yourself. Resume the next day. Reinvention is not linear, it's persistent. A few real-life scenarios. Scenario 1. The friend who betrays trust. You discover a close friend has shared something personal. Use the 20-minute practice to process. Calm yourself. Inventory the trust breach. Decide one relational response. Speak calmly, set a boundary, or pause the intimacy, and pray for wisdom. This preserves your heart and models courage. Scenario 2. The stalled career. You feel overlooked for promotion. Spend 20 minutes mapping transferable achievements and drafting a 1-paragraph pitch to your manager. Then schedule a short conversation. The practice keeps you from spinning in resentment and moves you toward leverage. Scenario 3. The season of loss. You're grieving. Use the session for gentle reflection, a gratitude anchor, and a 1-step plan like calling a supportive person or counselor. Reinvention doesn't rush grief, it creates a path forward. Watch for the traps. Don't weaponize this practice as a way to bypass emotions. It's not about toxic positivity. It's a disciplined space to honor feelings and choose forward motion. Addressing the fear of reinvention. Some of you will say, "I'm afraid. What if I try and fail again?" That fear is real and understandable. Failure is not the final word. The Bible is full of people who failed and were used beautifully later on. What stands out is not flawless success, but persistent return to God and steady steps forward. If you're afraid to reduce circle size because you'll lose social capital, remember, quality friendships sustain long-term growth. If you're afraid to step into a focused practice because you don't have time, remember, small habits compound. 20 minutes daily is 60 hours a year, enough time to learn a new skill, repair a relationship, or make a plan that changes the trajectory of a life. Gentle correction about justice and vengeance. We must be clear, pursuing justice for harm is different from seeking vengeance. The Bible calls us to stand against injustice, but not to return wrong for wrong. If you've been harmed, seek appropriate redress, through HR, through legal avenues, through healthy boundaries, but do not build your life around retaliation. That only deepens wounds and steals your future. Reinvention invites creative, constructive responses, not bitter reprisals.
Bringing it back to God. Everything I've said so far is practical, but it's also spiritual. The deepest resource for reinvention is not a motivational pep talk, it's God's steady presence. Psalm 62 and the examples of the saints remind us that when our soul is anchored in God, we can begin again with courage. Prayer is not a magic wish, it's the practice that keeps us aligned with truth and hope. The 20-minute practice ends with prayer intentionally, so that your action is bathed in humility and dependence, not frantic self-reliance. Final challenge: commit to one 20-minute session today. Here's my final ask: commit to one 20-minute session right now. No theatrical promises, no guaranteed overnight life change, just a promise that consistent practice reshapes your life. Choose a quiet place, set a timer, and go through the 4 segments I described. Prepare, reflect, plan, pray. Make a single tangible commitment at the end, one action you will do within 24 hours, and then do it. If you want to go further, I'm inviting you to a 7-day mini challenge where you practice this session daily and share one small victory each day. Hit the link in the description to download a 1-page checklist that guides you through the 20 minutes and gives prompts for each segment. Join the group if you want accountability and practical support. That's the final CTA. Commit to one 20-minute session now. Download the checklist or join the challenge if you want the extra nudge. A word of encouragement. You don't have to be perfect to begin. You only need to be willing. A single 20-minute slot, repeated, will build the spiritual muscle of focus, protect your heart from corrosive voices, and provide the steady momentum you need to reframe your nights as seasons of rebirth. God is with you in the quiet and the action. In the small cancellations and the big losses, there is room for grace and for growth. Let's finish with a simple promise to yourself. 20 minutes is short, but it's enough to begin. Do it today. Commit to the one sentence you will say every morning. Name one person you will invite into your inner circle. Take one small step that can be done in 24 hours. That's how potential becomes reality, one disciplined minute at a time. May God give you courage to guard your heart, clarity to protect your focus, and faith to keep going when plans fall apart. Start now. 20 minutes. Unlock your potential.